Hey guys, welcome to a Noob's Review. It's my series on World of Tanks where I, the noob, review a tank that I have a little bit of experience in and I give you my take on that tank. Today we're going to be tackling the M4 Sherman, the Tier 4 American medium tank, and this is definitely one of my most played and favorite tanks of all time. With that said, keep in mind that all the stats and numbers in the actual tank review itself are with my current crew and loadout and the gun that I'm using, so yours may vary. Alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the garage and take a look at the tank. Anyone familiar with World War II should be pretty familiar with the looks of the M4 Sherman. It's the iconic American medium tank that you always see in movies and documentaries of the time. So it's the pretty standard idea of what you think about an American World War II tank should look like. Alright, let's move on to the stats. The M4 Sherman has an HP of 460, a top speed of 48 kilometers an hour, and an engine power of 460. The hull armor is 50 millimeters thick in the front, 38 millimeters in the side and the rear. With the top turret equipped, you have 63 millimeters of armor all the way around. With my current crew and loadout, the hull traverse speed is 37 degrees a second, the turret traverse speed is just under 40 degrees a second at 39.46. The view range is 377.93 meters, but if you're sitting still with binoculars, that boosts it up to 472.41 meters. The signal range of the radio is 655.85 meters. The load capacity is 32.3 tons, and currently what I have equipped is 30.127 tons. So the gun choice really comes down to personal preference, and I prefer the 105, so this is the stats for that particular weapon. While using the 105, you're able to achieve 2,914 DPM with the HE standard ammunition getting penetration of 53 millimeters and the heat rounds getting 101 millimeters of penetration. With the HE, you have an average damage of 410, and with the heat, you have an average damage of 350. Currently with my crew, the rate of fire with the 105 is 7.11 seconds with a reload time of 8.44, an aim time of 2.34 seconds, and a dispersion of 0.52. The M4 Sherman has a gun depression of 12 degrees, and that's all the way around the tank. Alright, so that's the stats of the M4 Sherman. Let's check out a couple of replays and see what it can do in the field. The first replay is of a Tier 5 standard battle on Windstorm. What I generally like to do is go towards the north through the A-B lines, especially with a decently quick and mobile medium tank like this with good gun depression. I like working the ridge lines and the hills, trying to shoot down, cover up my hull, and get some good shots into enemies. And right here is a good example of the accuracy of the 105 on the move. It's not good, so generally speaking, you want to sit still and let your aiming settle down a little bit before you try to take your shots. It's generally better. Right here you can say I aim a little bit and it's a much better result. I didn't penetrate, but I still did manage to do 137 damage. Unfortunately, I do take several shots from him. As you can see right there, he's shooting the 105 also. He hit me with an HE round for 157, but I'm able to put some solid damage into him. What has me scared is the T67 on the hill. That tank is a devastating tank if you let it fire unchecked. Right here, I'm able to, I take one more shot, but I'm able to finish off the M4. I am platoon with my buddy Jeremy. You see him up on the hill. He's driving in the M4 as well, but he's using the 76, which has higher penetration and a higher rate of fire, but it does lower alpha damage. Right here, you'll see him. He'll take a shot. He only does 114 damage to the T67. If I manage to penetrate the T67, I'm liable to one-shot him with an average damage roll of 410. So that's the difference between the two guns. You sacrifice penetration and rate of fire to being able to do crazy one-shots. And right here, the accuracy, I would have never hit that guy. I've only managed to do a few derp snipes is what I like to call them, across a vast distance to hit him with that. But when you connect, it's pretty satisfying. So you'll see us play very cautiously right here. That's because we know the T67 is still there, and then we also noticed that there's a Panzer IV-H spotted, and that tank can definitely one-shot us if it's running its howitzer as well. So we're playing this corner very cautiously, and then the Su-85 is also spotted. So we definitely need to hunker down a little bit. And right there, the T67 is spotted. I'm hoping for a shot. And I get a low roll. I don't penetrate, and I leave him with 2 health, but Jeremy is able to snipe him and take him out. Jeremy and myself are still playing very cautiously because we both know that Panzer IV-H is a pretty good player according to XVM, and that SU-85 is still back there somewhere, so we don't want to poke around and get taken out of the match too early. Right here, I figure out that the SU-85 is actually behind that hill, and the Panzer IV-H has pulled back as well, so I decide I'm going to pull up and try to see if I get a shot on the side of the SU-85, see where he's aiming. I noticed the Crusader, but he's also in an area where he can't get any shots on me, so I decided to be a little brave, and T-28 is over there. I don't take my shot. I save my shot, put it in the side of the SU-85, and take him out. So with the SU-85 taken out, we are still losing 5-9, so I decide I'm going to try to get a shot on this T-28. I poke out and I take a shot from a Type 95 that I didn't know that was over there. I do put a shot at the T-28 and manage to do a low roll. I don't penetrate. Jeremy and his M4 gets taken out by the Type 95. I pull back, I put a shot in the Priest, I take him out, I penetrate, do full damage, and then the Crusader takes me out. So you don't have the greatest armor in the M4. Even a Crusader can penetrate you. Alright, so let's move on to the next replay. This replay is another tier 5 match, so another top tier game, and it is on the Serene Coast map. Again, I like to come out here around the B2 area and decently mobile medium tanks, especially with the Americans that have good gun depression. I always try to make use of the hills and the ridge lines to try to poke, just to protect my hull and only expose my turret whenever I have to. So it works out pretty well with the American mediums that I like to play so much. Right here you can see the M4 spotted. I try to put a shot in him, but I'm waiting to aim just a little bit more. And unfortunately I don't penetrate, but with the HE rounds you still do a decent amount of damage to softer targets even if you don't penetrate. And right here we're able to finish him off. And then Jeremy and I, we turn our attention to this Crusader that's pulled up a little too far, and we're going to try to punish him for making that mistake. Unfortunately, the way it develops is Jeremy completely blocks my shot, which is okay, but he does take a lot of damage for it. And then the T-40 and the Martyr 2 is spotted. I take a shot at the T-40, but I've only managed to hit him in the tracks. He only takes 112 damage. I could one-shot him. Unfortunately, during that exchange, the T-40 did take out Jeremy and his M4. The Martyr 2 is spotted. I take him out. And that's one good thing about this using the 105. Light tanks and open top tanks like some TDs and Arty, you're able to just punish with the 105. I take a shot right there at the T-40, but unfortunately he has relocated and my shot sells wide, but the Sentinel on our team was able to finish him out. So we decided to push up a little bit, see what we can do with anything that's caught back at their base. Now the last remaining M4 driver on the enemy team is spotted, so I'll pull up, try to get a shot on him, and he does stop. I'm able to aim, and I take a shot right there. I only do 74 damage, a pretty low roll. I got a critical out of it. I don't know what I damaged, probably tracks. I might have taken out a crew member or something though. Got a little bit more of a damaging roll that time. He is able to take out the Sentinel though. That's one thing about the 105. Anything that shoots HE like that, you're able to do a lot of critical damage, take out a lot of modules and crew members. So I pull up a little bit better to get a little bit closer so I don't have to wait so long to aim. Right here, auto aim fails me and I completely dunk it into the ground, but he does shoot and miss. But before I'm able to reload, I believe, yep, somebody takes him out. So I decide I'm going to push onto their cap and see if I can't find some more victims to shoot with my 105 howitzer. And right here, the British Tier 4 Premium Sentinel is spotted. It has a pretty good rate of fire, so I definitely want to keep him at bay if I can. I spot the LTV-Z38. I put one shot into him, take him out. Then I duck into cover because I know that his reload time will tear me apart if I stay in the open. The MAA-1 is below my ridge. I believe he's AFK, so he's not a threat. Martyr 2 is spotted. I wait for my aim to settle down a little bit, and I take the shot and finish him off. So I'm having a decent game at this point. We are still losing 10-11. I have 4 kills and just under 1,000 damage done, but I am backed up against the wall with that Sentinel staring me down. So what I'm going to try to do is bait him into shooting the front of my hull, which is in a pretty good angle, and he should be able to bounce a few times. And you'll see right here, I take a shot, he bounces, I don't, I get 144 damage done. I'm going to try to do it again, he does bounce again, I pull up, shoot, and now he's sitting on, I believe, 105 damage. So if I get one more shot, I finish him off. He does manage to pin, and then I take him out. So now I'm sitting on 5 kills. I'm hoping this M8A1 is AFK so I can get my top gun easily. And I take off auto aim right here because I want to guarantee the top gun at this point. So there's my top gun and my high caliber. So I'm pretty good game. We still are losing 12 to 13. So I figure I'm gonna go ahead and hop on the cap because it looks like they're at any minute they could be hopping on cap, and try to see if I can help out this Panzer 4.8 somehow. So I have 6 kills. I'm sitting on a little over 1,500 damage done. Pretty decent game. I'm gonna go ahead and ruin the suspense. We do end up having it a draw. The Chinu and the OI, they both hop on the cap, and luckily our Panzer 4H is able to get back and help me cap it out as well. So the KV-1 does try to make it back in time, but he's just not quick enough, and it does end up being a draw. So in my opinion, it is definitely worth picking up the M4. You do have to go to the M3 Lee, which is a pretty awful tank if I want to be honest, but it definitely is worth it. It unlocks the M4 Sherman and the T1 Heavy, so definitely try to pick up the M4 Sherman if you haven't already. So I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for more.